Start. Hello and good morning to my colleagues in Germany and to all the Indian companies participating for today's webinar. It's a warm welcome to all the participants and my counterparts to discuss about the possible opportunities on the chemical industry in North Rhine-Westphalia, Germany. Before we move on to the session, I would like to introduce you to my colleagues from NRW.Global Business, Ms. Stephanie Beers, who is the head of business unit for India and Southeast Asia, followed by Mr. Andreas Struve, who is the authorized representative for the city of Krefeld, and Mr. Simon Janishes, who is a part of Krefeld as well. So now, if any of the participants have any questions during the webinar, I will request them to post them into the Q&A box. Post the webinar presentations, we will address all the questions one by one. So now we'll start with our presentation. So the title for today's webinar stands as Opportunities for Indian Chemical Companies in North Rhine-Westphalia, Germany. So during this webinar, we are going to cover the following topics like India-Germany relations, Germany chemical industry market, trade fairs and exhibitions, associations and chambers, steps for success, forms of expansion, and finally the Q&A session. As I said, the speakers for today's webinar. Now let's talk about the India-Germany bilateral relations. So the facts about Germany and India relationship is the trade between the two countries has reached to 21.98 billions in the year 2020, followed by German companies have invested nearly 12 billion in India since the year 2000. More than 1,850 German companies are operating in India. Germany is India's most important trading partner in the European Union, and Germany is the 6th most important trading partner worldwide for India. Taking a look at the Indo-German trade, so the India export for the year 2015-2016 was $7,093 million, which has gone up to trade volume of $19,181 million for the year 2015 and 16. Followed by 2017, it was 18,765, which has gone up to 21,982 for the year 2019 and 20. This is the sectoral composition of Indian FDI in Germany. So the manufacturing sector stands at 62%, followed by financial services at 22%, wholesale, trade and hotels and hospitality at 13%, whereas others' contribution is at 3%. Now, sectoral composition of Indian FDI in Germany. So 1,600 Indo-German collaborations and 600 Indo-German joint ventures. We have more than 200 Indian companies are operating in Germany. So the major contribution comes from IT, automotive, pharma and biotech, who has received a good chunk of Indian investments in Germany. And Indian corporate entities have invested over $7 billion in Germany. Now, these are share of the top sectors attracting FDI in Germany, starting with the automobile industry, as Germany is always known as an automotive nation, whereas the amount of FDI stood at $231.9 million. So the total inflow starts at 20.6%. Followed by services sector, like the major IT industry is present in NRW state and has a $179.4 million at 16% of trade inflows. Followed by other sectors like construction infrastructure, industrial machinery, drugs and pharmaceuticals, soap, cosmetics and toilet preparations, and computer software and hardware. Followed by chemicals at 36.7 amount of FDI $1 million, followed by 3.3% of total inflows. Now talking about chemical industry in Germany. So the German chemical industry has a major presence both in Europe and globally. Germany's central location in Europe gives access to 500 million EU customers. There are more than 3,100 chemical companies in Germany, of which 96% are SMEs. In 2019, Germany was the second largest global exporter of chemical products. And more than 70% of German chemical exports remain in Europe. Talking about the German chemical industry facts, so the 27% of the total chemical industry revenue in European Union is generated by German companies. Then 4.8% average chemical revenue growth rate during the last 60 years, so from 1960 to 2020. And 1/7 of chemical patents registered at the European Patent Office are made by the German chemical-based companies. And last, 4.2 billion R&D spending by German chemical companies for the year 2019 and 2020. Talking about the German chemical sales, so the specialty chemicals at 26%, followed by petrochemicals at 26%, then polymers at 19%, consumer chemicals at 15%, and basic inorganics at 14%. Now let's take a look at the Germany's chemical production by segment for the year 2020. So the segment for polymers, it stood at 6.5%, whereas inorganic basic chemicals at 6%, fine and specialty chemicals at 5.5%, followed by detergents, personal care products, cosmetics at 2.5%, petrochemicals, derivatives, and pharmaceuticals at 1.5 and 5.5% respectively. So looking at the map, chemical sales in Germany. So North Rhine-Westphalia is below $29.73 billion in terms of the chemical sales, followed by other states. These are some of the major renowned players of chemicals in Germany: BASF, Evonik, then Bayer, Dello, Lanxess. Talking about the major trade fairs and exhibitions. Now, trade fairs and exhibitions has been a very important platform for the Indian companies, whoever is looking to expand their operations in the overseas market. So the European Coating Show 2021, ACHEMA, as we understand, most of the companies, they do participate in this exhibition. Then World Congress on Textile Coating, then Functional Coating, and Plastic Free World Conference and Expo. Talking about the associations and chambers, these are some of the renowned associations and chambers: the German Chemical Society, then Chemical Parks in Germany, and German Chemical Industry Association. Now talking about the steps for success. These are some of the defined steps for success for companies to establish their operations. First point is very important, that knowing yourself. So understanding your service and your infrastructure capabilities, product suitability for European market, product approval and certifications, and allocation of defined resources and budget. Second point, knowing market. Understanding the price structure in European market, knowing market trends, customer needs, and competitors who are active in European market. Based on the above 2 points, third point would be preparing yourself. So preparing yourself, defining strategy, roadmap, budget, and resources, preparing marketing material in German language, presentations, then website and brochures, which could be helpful in the local language, changes in products as per European standards, then process for applying to government tenders, etc. And last, based on the above 3 points, approaching customers. Once you are prepared with the above 3 points, the fourth point comes in terms of identifying the potential customers, approaching to relevant association and chambers, attending various trade fairs and conferences, using social media platform for updates, digital lead generation, and other physical client meetings. Now, talking about the various forms of expansion. So expansion has been defined in various categories. Talking about branch office at the initial stage where company can think of having a branch office and further to expand on various activities. Followed by sales office, which will be helpful for promoting their services. Research and development center, wherein as the manufacturing in India and research and development done in Germany, in NRW state, and reaching out to your customers. Innovation center. If you have anything into innovative chemicals, you can definitely think of setting up an innovation center in different parks. Followed by the manufacturing plant. And last one, the greenfield and the brownfield investments. Now, I would like to invite my colleague, Ms. Stephanie Beers, to present her part and talk about the ecosystem of NRW.Global Business. Stephanie, we are not able to hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Kaushal. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning from Germany to India. Esteemed guests, thank you very much for joining our webinar today. It is my great pleasure to introduce North Rhine-Westphalia, one of the 16 federal states in Germany, as a possible investment location for Indian companies in Europe. In my presentation, I will explain about the services provided by us, the official trade and investment agency of North Rhine-Westphalia, to foreign companies. I will talk about the general economic environment in our state and the chemical industry here. And last but not least, about our special economic relations with India. NRW.Global Business is a governmental organization, and we belong to 100% to the Ministry of Economic Affairs. It is important to mention here that all our services are free of charge. Our headquarters is located in Düsseldorf. That's the capital city of our state. And the company is represented worldwide by representation offices, and we have a very special focus on Asia, as you can see here. By the end of this year, we also hope to open up a new office in India and Bangalore. With the teams of our regional representations and partners in the specific target countries and in our headquarters, we serve the requests and interests of foreign companies towards market entry and settlement in our state. We do so by providing tailor-made information and contacts on the specific needs of each potential investor. And accordingly, in our headquarters here in Düsseldorf, we have teams especially in charge of companies from the various regions and countries. Myself, together with our partner agency, Crescendo, serve as the one-stop contact for the Indian entrepreneurs. NRW.Global Business has a very strong tradition and performance record in assisting and consulting foreign companies regarding their settlement plans in our state since more than 60 years now. This year, we have already successfully established 107 new companies in our state. And in the past, we have an average of about 450 new settlements per year. Our second focus lies on the support for companies from North Rhine-Westphalia in relation to foreign markets. Our special strength lies in our networking abilities between business, science, politics, and public administration. This chart here illustrates how we are embedded in a dense and functional network that is helpful for us and, of course, for our clients. Now let me talk about North Rhine-Westphalia. You can see it here marked in red in the center of Europe. It borders on the Netherlands and Belgium, and with 18 million inhabitants, it is the most populous and most densely populated of the 16 federal states in Germany. The largest cities are Düsseldorf, Cologne, Dortmund, and Essen. And within the inner red circle of 500 kilometers, you can reach 450 million potential customers. They have a very strong purchasing power, stronger than a respective circle around, for example, London, Paris, or Berlin. They have a purchasing power of around 3.6 trillion euros. And besides the excellent market for B2C business, we have around 712,000 SMEs in our state. They are the backbone of our economy, and they offer a lot of B2B businesses as well. Our state is the economic center in Germany. The GDP came to more than 711 billion euros in 2019. We generate 21% of the German GDP, and so in terms of GDP, our state is the #1 economic location in Germany. As a country on its own, we would hold the 18th position in the GDP world ranking, and we are #7 within the European Union. One of the reasons for the state's economic power is the fact that we are still a very industrial region with a strong manufacturing industry. Within the European Union, Germany has by far the highest share of manufacturing industry. 20% of the employed population work in the industrial sector. In 2019, the industrial enterprises generated sales of 352 billion euros. The biggest industrial employer is the mechanical engineering. And it is also the strongest industry in our state in terms of sales. The chemical industry is the second strongest industry in North Rhine-Westphalia, followed by food and beverages, metal production and processing, metal products, and the automotive industry. The total trading volume of our state from imports and exports amounted to 439 billion euros in 2019, with a slightly higher import than export rate. And you can see here our most important trading partners. The most important trading partners are, of course, the countries in the European Union, with a trading volume of about 276 billion euros. That also indicates that we offer a perfect location for a European headquarter. From Asia, China, Japan, and India are the most important trading partners, with a trading volume altogether of about 57 billion euros. Now let me talk about the chemical industry in our state. North Rhine-Westphalia is Germany's most important location for the chemical industry. As you might know, Germany is #1 in Europe and #3 worldwide, only behind China and the US. And North Rhine-Westphalia ranks 5th in the European Union and 14th in the world in terms of sales. At 45 billion euros, our state contributed 1/3 to the total German sales in the chemical industry. The number of people employed in this industry was more than 97,000. And with 13 chemical parks, our state is the #1 in Germany. Half of all the employees in the chemical industry in NRW work in these chemical parks. The industry is strongly characterized by medium-sized businesses. According to the Association of the Chemical Industry, VCI, the proportion of small and medium-sized enterprises with fewer than 500 employees is over 90%. And like the large industrial enterprises, SMEs are also active in the world markets, with the following special feature. While medium-sized companies in many other industries primarily perform supplier functions, in the chemical industry, they mainly manufacture end products. And their export share is almost 90%. You can see here the most important customer and supplier countries. Altogether, we have about 1,000 chemical companies in our state, of which approximately 455 employ 20 or more people. They are of major importance, of course, to many industrial value chains as a cross-sector industry. About 70% of all the substances produced by the chemical industry here go into industrial processing. The companies headquartered in NRW include such internationally renowned names as Atlanta, Bayer, Covestro, Evonik Industries, Henkel or Lanxess, as well as companies with research and production sites in our state, such as BASF or 3M. NRW has two major locations in the chemical industry, which are also of international importance: the Cologne region and the Ruhr metropolis. Here, chemicals enjoy strong support in politics, in associations, and last but not least, also in the general public. Indications of this broad consensus are the two initiatives, Chem Cologne in Cologne and ChemSite in the city of Marl, which pursue the same goal with similar measures: to strengthen the chemical industry in the two regions and to realize investments quickly and cost effectively. We also have a very good and dense landscape of universities and research facilities and institutions. There are 70 universities and technical colleges in North Rhine-Westphalia and 35 institutes of R&D societies like the Fraunhofer Max Planck Institutes or Leibniz Association. And quite a few of them also have a chemical focus. Our technical universities are at the forefront of science-to-industry collaboration, and this is also one of the secrets of the high technological ranking of the SMEs in our state. And many foreign investor companies also make use of this R&D infrastructure and set up the European R&D centers here in North Rhine-Westphalia. For example, from Japan, we have Denso or Asahi Kasei or Yazaki, and from China, Huawei and BAIC with their R&D units. We also offer a very good breeding ground for talents. Almost 30% of the German students study in North Rhine-Westphalia. There are around 170 chemistry or related courses that are offered at the universities. The students also include more than 100,000 foreigners, many of whom study economic science, mechanical engineering, and informatics. The Turkish students form the biggest group of the non-German students, but followed by China and India. So there are a lot of young talents which could further your research and be a valuable asset to your business. Now let me talk about our relation to India. India's relation with the state of NRW are very strong. In terms of trade volume between Germany and India, our state has the largest share of all the federal states. And we are home to more than 120 Indian companies. They are mainly from the IT sector, the chemical, automotive, and pharma industry. In total, Indians employ more than 6,000 people throughout our state. There are 27,000 Indian nationals, including 4,000 students who live here in North Rhine-Westphalia. And we have a very well-developed Indian infrastructure that is at your hand if you want to start your business here. There are India desks at various consulting companies, law firms, and even city governments. Then we have the liaison desk of the Indo-German Chamber of Commerce that operates in Düsseldorf. There are international schools and German-Indian roundtable business circles in Düsseldorf, Cologne, and Aachen. North Rhine-Westphalia is a very open-minded and international region with around 20,000 foreign companies, including some 2,000 from Asia. 20% of all the foreign companies in Germany are based in our state, and the foreign investors provide work for about 1.3 million persons. The major investor countries are the countries from the European Union, but also from Asia. We have a lot of investor companies, mainly from China and Japan. So I'm already at the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for listening. I hope I could offer an insight into NRW's potential, and that after this session, you will feel well informed and are curious to get in touch and start an exchange regarding your specific plans and projects. Please do not hesitate to contact me directly or through our partner agency, Crescendo. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Stephanie, for sharing the insights about NRW and explaining the ecosystem for the chemical industry. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Andreas Struve to play his presentation.
Good morning to India. Hello, and I do not want to add any facts that Stephanie Behrens mentioned now about North Rhine-Westphalia. I think you got a good impression that we are just in the middle of a very economic potential area, and I only want to give you some information and maybe a brief overview about a local level. As Stephanie Behrens mentioned, NRW.Global Invest is a free of charge state-owned company, and we are similar. We are a city-owned and as well free of charge working agency that refers to acquiring new companies from abroad, as well to our city and to our state. Therefore, I only want to mention that we do nearly the same, and that we are a smaller city than Düsseldorf, but we are just the neighbor city of Düsseldorf, located on the Rhine River. And in our region, we have in our city, with only 235,000 inhabitants, we have 2 of the mentioned 23 chemical parks. And therefore, we think that we are very good bridgehead for companies maybe from India coming to Germany to start a business in the chemical field in Germany or all over Europe. We just prepared a short presentation, but I can't do it by my own because I'm sitting in my office, and Dr. Simon Jeniches is now sitting in another one, and he is ahead of the presentation now. And therefore, I want to forward the word to him, and he can give you some more information about our city, our chemical base, and the opportunities you might get here in our city. And he also had some information about the relations we have to Indian companies and to India. And therefore, Simon, please go ahead.
Thank you, Andreas. Good morning from Krefeld. Good afternoon to India. I'm very happy to welcome you to this presentation. I would like to give you some insights on the city of Krefeld, which lays in North Rhine-Westphalia. First of all, over here you've got a landscape of the western part of North Rhine-Westphalia. You see that a lot of business parks, chemical business parks, are located directly at the Rhine, and Krefeld is right in the center of the map. And you can see that we've got the major industrial locations for the chemistry industry, and these are only clusters, and no single enterprise located there, but a bunch of a group of enterprises. You also see that in terms of transports, North Rhine-Westphalia, and especially Krefeld, is very well located directly at the Rhine. And also the distances to major cities in Europe are not very far. We lie directly near Brussels, Rotterdam and Amsterdam. and also the distance to the airports, are also to the major airports, like for example in Düsseldorf or Cologne, where you can also fly to India, are not very far. You can see over there that a small part of the map is just 10 kilometers. So Krefeld lies directly like 15 kilometers away from Düsseldorf. So the distances are not very large and everything is in close proximity. Over here, you've got the micro level of the city of Krefeld. You can see that Krefeld owns a Rhine port, and also there are two major industrial parks where the chemistry industry is located. One is well in the center of the city, and the other one is located directly at the River Rhine. Regarding some facts of the city of Krefeld, a population of 230,000, a gross regional product of nearly $10 billion, and it also has got a very high expert ratio, which means that there are a lot of experts in the city of Krefeld. And Krefeld is also very much an industrial city. Originally the textile industry dominated Krefeld, and because of the textile industry, because for coloring the textile, the chemical industry was located in Krefeld, which is quite the city heritage. And over here you've got a view on one of the major chemical industrial estates right next to the River Rhine. Some companies, to name it, Covestro, Lanxess, Currenta, Henkel, and Evonik are located in Krefeld. Over here, you've got an overview about the number of the manufacturing companies and their turnover. These are only the Krefeld-based companies, and we see that the turnover was 3.7 billion euro, which is almost dollar in 2018, and 13 major companies belonging to the chemical industry, and you can also say that according to the turnover, the chemical industry is the most important branch in Krefeld. Here you can see an overview about the companies who are located in Krefeld. Some names are Evonik, Henkel, but also Currenta, and Covestro, who belong also to the chemical industries. Also some companies with relationships to India, for example, the chemical company Sudarshan, which is located in Krefeld. Albenik and Bolai is also a Krefeld-based company, and they are a chemical company, and they also have a branch in India with a partnership. Simpelkamp is also a Krefeld-based company, originally from Krefeld. They also have an Indian branch, as well as Küsters Calico, who are active in the textile sector. You can also say that the enterprises are operating very international. We've got a few Japanese companies, for example, Canon, Kawai, and also Shimano, but also some big players, some German companies, for example, Siemens or ThyssenKrupp. Regarding the ecosystem, the knowledge ecosystem, we are very much close proximity to the University of the Rhinelands, RWTH Aachen University, with a very professional chemistry branch. Also the Technical University of Dortmund, and also the University of Cologne. They also have big chemistry departments. But we are also in close proximity to the Dutch universities. For example, the Radboud University in Nijmegen, and also the FOM and the Fontes, who are in really close proximity, where you can study business administration. In Krefeld, there is also the home of the University of Applied Sciences Hochschule Niederrhein, who also have a chemistry department, and also the HIT, which is an institute for surface technologies, are located there. And there are approximately 15,000 students. And there is a close link to the local businesses. A lot of projects going on between the University of Applied Sciences and the Krefeld-based companies. So you can see that especially the knowledge ecosystem is very well, especially when it comes to chemistry. Regarding sports, Krefeld is also very attractive. If you want to do sports in the free time, there are 330 clubs. You can do 100 sport disciplines, for example, also cricket. Krefeld hosted the European Cricket Series this year, but also some Olympics athletes are also based in Krefeld. For example, on the right, you can see the hockey player Nick Wellen, who won the bronze medal during the Summer Olympics in Rio. And freshly out of Japan, on the right side, you can see the wrestling champion, and also on the right the rowing champions Jonathan Rummelmann and Laurits Follett, who won the silver medal in the Tokyo Olympics. And also visitors from India are always welcome. On the left side, you can see the Lord Mayor of Krefeld. It's the second from the left. Who hosted together with us a hockey tournament where visitors from India came, some Indian consultants who were interested into the Krefeld-based companies. And on the right, you can see the left man is the CEO of the Chamber of Commerce in Krefeld, and he welcomed the Consul General of India, Dr. Amit Telang, last month. So you can see that there are a lot of visitors from India also coming to Krefeld. How can we further support you? Over here, you can see our contact data, but nevertheless, I would like to inform you about the latest development. We recently opened a welcome center in Krefeld to welcome some small branches of companies who want to do the first steps on the German markets. It's really an ideal location right next to the airport of Düsseldorf, and we offer support in terms of giving you the contacts to lawyers, to tax advisors, but also to universities, so you can grow steadily on the German markets. And thank you very much for your attention. And if you would like to have any additional information, do not hesitate to contact us, and we would really welcome to welcome you in Krefeld. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Andreas, Struber, and Simon, for your presentation and talking about the possible support in the city of Krefeld and the major opportunities for the chemical companies in NRW. Now, moving forward, let's take a look at the poll questions. Now here, I would request all the participants to actively participate in the polling questions. This would actually help us in understanding more about your activities and about your interest and about your ideas, what you think Germany and NRW as a state and Germany as a country, how potential the business opportunity in that country. So now I will request all the participants, please actively participate in the polling sessions. So the first question talks about the potential customers in Northern Westphalia or Germany. Oh, I could see 50% companies, they have their customers from Northern Westphalia or Germany. and almost 100% of companies, they feel that they don't have any inquiries from Northern Westphalia or Germany. 100%, 75% people feel that it is a strategic location for their expansion. Expansion plans, I could see that 60% of people, they feel that sales and marketing office would be a right expansion plan, followed by manufacturing plant. 57% of companies have already participated in the international exhibitions. So there is more interest for sales and marketing office. It is indeed a first step of establishing your presence in Germany, starting with the sales and marketing office, wherein as you can indeed promote your products. I will request other participants as well to actively participate in this. It will help us to understand more about your activities, about your interest, and taking up your plans to Germany. 10% of people, they have received some business inquiries from Northern Westphalia or Germany. So now we have less 30 seconds left. I will request other participants, please vote on polling. So I would like to thank the companies for participating in the polling sessions and letting us understand about their interest, their activities. Now we will move on to the Q&A session.